Hello, everyone. This is Loretta Sernowski with Remax Fine Properties. Welcome to another episode of Cactus and Canucks. Today, we have a very special guest on to talk about a very interesting topic, and he is a fellow Sasky. You are from Saskatchewan, are you?
Yeah, sure am. Yeah, the land of the cold.
Okay, Andrew Robertson, tell us who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm a visual artist. I'm from Shaunavon, Saskatchewan, and I work in all sorts of types of mediums. So I started out doing photography, and then I've worked my way up to doing large scale murals. So yeah, I also have a studio above a coffee shop in small town in Shaunavon, Saskatchewan. So that's where I'm at right now.
So, believe it or not, I know Shaunavon very well because my husband was Bob Hughes from the Leader Post.
Oh,
And
okay, yeah.
we actually went out there for when Shaunavon had the Hockey Day in Canada. Remember with Don Cherry and whatever.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I got to meet a lot of Shaunavon celebrities, I guess you might say. I can't remember what the one guy's name was. But anyways, I think Shaunavon's a great town, and you guys are a little bit warmer than you're closer. You're a little bit more south than than
Yeah.
everyone else. So let's talk about your visual art. How did you? You said you went from photography. How did you come about knowing that you love doing this?
Yeah, it's been like quite the journey. I started doing photography when I was a teenager. I lived in East End, Saskatchewan. That's where I grew up. So
Okay.
that's about 20 minutes away from Shaunavon, and went around the hills taking photos. And I had a pretty active imagination. So I'd always be either making films with my friends or doing photography. And then as I kind of got older, that kind of faded away a little bit. And I started working at a rehab center. So started working there when I was about 18, and I started on night shifts, and I worked there for around 7 years on and off. And what got me into the visual arts that I'm doing now, the drawing and like the murals and all of that, I was on night shift during COVID, so it was like a very turbulent time for a lot of different people. Um, but yeah, I was working night shift, and the shifts range from like 9 at night to 9 in the morning. So I had like 12 hours, and basically it was just my job to monitor the clients that we had just to make sure they were okay. And um, there's a few things going on in my life at that time. So like my mom was diagnosed with cancer. I had a close friend die of an overdose. My dad had like a heart attack, and
Oh,
he had to get
jeez.
heart surgery, like many different things. It was quite, and then COVID, right? So we're just kind of all sad.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was on night shift, and I was like, okay, for like 12 hours, and I'm obviously not going to travel because I had plans to travel the world. I'd saved up a bunch of money for that. Um, and I was like, okay, well, I have all this time. I should probably make use of it. And drawing had been something that I had always admired other people doing. Um, so I got this piece of paper. It was like just printer paper. And I was like, okay, I'm going to spend the next 8 hours drawing a 2 inch by 2 inch portrait. And I'm going to spend the whole 8 hours on it on night shift. And just want to see where that takes me, because I'll know by the end of that if I can draw or not. And I had never really did much drawing before that. So I did that, and then drew for 8 hours straight and kind of went cross-eyed a little bit. And and then one of the morning shift workers came out, and they saw what I'd drawn, and they were like, "I didn't know you could draw." And I was like, "I didn't know I could draw either." So that was my first little portrait, and then from there I just kept creating.
So was there? I know your creativity came out during COVID, which surprisingly, COVID did have some benefits of that. People discovered hidden talents, I think. But was there someone that sort of mentored you or inspired you, an artist or someone in your life that you were like, oh, this is like someone I want to be like or influence?
Yeah, sure, yeah. Like when I was younger, there was well, looking back throughout my whole life, like there's always been people that have been placed in my life that have been there to like almost push me towards creativity in some way or another. So like when I was like 13, so like a friend that I just met, he was like an older guy. He just gave me a camera to take photos with. So I was like, I had this thing, so that's what it started me there. And then I knew like another guy who did some artwork, but after I started drawing during COVID, that's when I really started to meet people, and my connections started to grow in the art world because I really didn't know anything. Um, so like for instance, charcoal drawing, that's what I started out with.
Oh yeah.
And I learned most of that just online. There's a few artists online, like on social media, like Instagram, that I really appreciated. So I would like practice their style, and then I grew from that. Um, but as for influential people, like a few years ago, I started getting into murals, and I had a friend that I met. He was a graffiti artist, and we met working at Cypress Hills camp. In Cypress Hills area, and he was teaching a graffiti workshop there. And I gotten to know him, and we became pretty good friends. And probably a year later, he was like, "Hey, I run a mural festival in Medicine Hat, Alberta," and he's like, "I have a wall for you, and you're gonna paint it." And I'm like, no, I'm not, because that's terrifying, right? And I'd never painted a mural or anything that quite that large. And he's like, "No, you could do it. Like, I'll teach you how to use spray paint, and like I believe in you. You can do it." I'm like, "Holy crap, okay." So, and then I kind of forgot about it, not gonna lie. And I was traveling through Montana for a while, and I came back and I'm like, "Oh shoot, the mural festival is in like 2 days." And I hadn't prepped anything. So I was like scrambling to prep stuff, and I went there to Medicine Hat and I started painting, and I met so many different artists through that, just from the people that he was bringing in. Like Alex Kwong, he's out of Calgary. There's another guy named XYZ. He was painting there. And then the
They
guy who
still
was
have
running.
the mural festival?
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
Okay. I
they have that
actually went
every
to
year.
college in Medicine Hat, so I
Oh,
don't.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't remember that being there then. It was a long time ago, obviously, but
Yeah, I think it's been
so
around
the
for.
mural festival, do they just have walls and then everyone goes and does a mural at that day?
Yeah. Yeah. So his format, he'd bring in probably 5 or 6 guys, and he would negotiate with building owners or the city, and align, like get these walls put up, and then he'd get sponsors to sponsor the artists, and then provides jobs for artists. And yeah, people would just put up their artwork. And he was really good at curating. He brought in some pretty high level people.
Wow.
So through him and various other people that I met, I they're inspirational to me, but they also just taught me techniques along the way to paint.
So do you feel that being an artist, like I know you said when you were doing charcoal, you were watching online during COVID and stuff. Do you feel that art is a talent you're born with, or do you think that someone could learn to be a good artist?
I think everyone can learn to be
Yeah.
an artist or to do a craft of any kind. Um, I think, yeah, it takes a lot of practice.
Yeah.
So what people like don't see is all the practice that goes into it. They usually just see the end product, and they're like, "Oh, you're incredibly talented. You were born with this, right?"
Right.
And what they don't see is that I had practiced for 8 hours every night of night shift for 6 months straight. So my full-time job was technically practicing artwork, but it was like while I was on shift, right? And that's, if someone practices 8 hours a day
Sure.
during the weekdays, yeah, they'll grow like exponentially. So I think it's also you need a little bit of craziness and a little bit of obsession,
Right.
but yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously you have to love it to do it that much. So do you feel that it's to get inspired and doing what you love? Is it the experience that you get satisfaction from, the emotion? Like what brings you the pleasure of the art?
Sure. Yeah, that's a good question. I think at first it was like creating something that I really enjoyed. I love the process of charcoal on the paper and you smudge it around, you get your hands dirty and you just kind of like, and the end result after a lot of time and sometimes blood, sweat, and tears is this cool piece. But I think as I've come from 5 years ago to now, we're seeing the reactions of people of the artwork.
Hmm.
And when I paint something for somebody, and let's say it's like a portrait of their grandparent or somebody they love, and I give it to them, and they they start crying. It's like that's so beautiful.
Sure.
And
It's
I
like a
don't think I
song,
would.
right? It's like a song that you can see.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think that has become more important to me than the actual art itself.
Sure.
So yeah, I think it's just I love that. And I love the way that art can transform people in a way that's it's unexplainable, but everybody draws something from an art piece. And it
Right.
can be completely different. And even the pieces that I create, I have no idea how it's going to speak to somebody,
Hmm.
but you kind of just put it out there to the world, and it's just like a faith moment, and sometimes people draw from it, and it's really cool when it happens.
So you're a Saskatchewan boy. Do you feel like being in Saskatchewan, the landscape, the beauty of the province inspires you? Maybe not in January, but
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's super wide open here. Not everywhere. There are some hills, but
right.
uh, I think the when I was hiking when I was a kid, when I would look around and it's seemingly there's nothing, but then when you start looking down and you start looking closer and you get on your knees and you look at the dirt and you look at everything that's down there, you start to see all these little plants and all of these little critters. And there's some really cool beauty in the little things
Right.
when you're out in Saskatchewan. And I think the broadness and the openness that is here pushes you to look for that.
Right.
And I found that to be so valuable. Just it because it teaches you to look for beauty in a seemingly desolate place. And
Right.
Saskatchewan can be a desert and cold and white and blank, but it can also be beautiful. And if you look for it, you'll find it, right?
Well, and the sky too. I mean, living in Arizona, we don't have much rain. We had some this week, but it's like, oh my God, rain. And I do miss the sky and the thunderstorms and
Oh yeah.
that kind of the rain. It's just one thing that I definitely miss. And I miss camping with a fire.
Yeah. Oh, and I love like nature, and I think I've just grown to love the beauty of all the plants and just everything. So like how that shaped my artistic practice, I think I draw from it in various ways.
Mhm.
Probably can't explain why.
Yeah.
But I know stepping back and being still and listening to the birds and the wind and putting your phone away and just being present, that's inspiration hits me when I'm in that spot, and can't explain why,
Mhm.
but if you're lucky enough to have it happen, it's
Sure.
incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Now, I noticed you said when you were at the Mural Festival in Medicine Hat that you met a lot of other Canadian artists. So, do you feel Canadian artists are just have a little bit? Do they or they have a different mood to them?
No, I think all artists have a different mood to them.
Right.
They're all unique, right? They're creative. That's like when you see performance artists, they're incredible to be around. Some of my favorite people, just because they're so like out there. They're always performing in a way or another, and they don't really care what people think about them as much.
Right.
And then visual artists, like they're always thinking outside the box, and always, especially the ones who are doing it as a profession, they're always looking for ways to improve and ways to like perfect their practice. And I love being around those people. So
Mhm.
a lot of the artists that I've met from like the States and whatnot, I think I don't know if there's much of a difference, let's say, if they're
Uh-huh.
Canadian or American. I think it's more the mindset that they carry for creating.
Sure.
And it's refreshing to be around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
course. So let's say someone just bought a commercial building or coffee shop or whatever, and they want to have a mural, and they're from New Mexico or Arizona. I mean, how do you go? They contact you and say, "I'd like a mural." What's the next step? Can you walk me through that process?
Oh, sure, yeah. Typically, when like a client approaches me for a mural, first thing I get is the size of the wall, just to see, and the shape of the wall. Some walls are in pretty rough shape. But yeah, I talk with them about their vision for the space, what the community likes around them, because every community is different. And I try to create a piece that fits the community, that the people who live there will enjoy it every day, not something that's completely out to lunch. That's I want something, at least for my artistic practice, that helps ground people and helps people start conversations, but is also familiar. So I did a mural in my hometown in Shaunavon here, and it's of a farmer reaching down and checking his crops, which is super relevant because it's a huge agricultural industry out here. But people, that's like been a favorite of them because it's just relevant, you know?
Of course.
So yeah, no, I'd usually get the wall.
How does a person know, like, do you say what's your budget, or how do you go about pricing?
Yeah, you can price per square foot. Usually I just price per project. So depending on the complexity of the mural, there's like, if they want something with a huge scene with a bunch of different people, that's going to take more time than just one subject, right? So it's per project, varies greatly. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. And so what do you use? Do you use the same thing to paint with all the time, or is it different materials?
Yeah, I use spray paint mostly. So like I get paints from Loop Colors. They're a paint brand out of Italy, and yeah, love their cans and whatnot. But spray paint's just
is that paint specifically made for what you're doing, or is it just a residential paint?
Yeah, it's made for, well, it's made for graffiti. So for like painting train cars, I think they originally created that brand for, but it's, the cans are lower pressure, which means less paint comes out when you like squeeze the nozzle, so you have more control over the output of the paint. But spray paint is just so versatile because, you know, walls are different textures and everything. Sure. So you can really just cover and get in all the cracks, and you can carry your paint with you. You don't have to dump brushes and everything. Like it's way more simple. Yeah.
So do you find that, as opposed to 5 years ago, your creative juices are flow easily, or do you get blocks?
I think I definitely get blocks. It's more like, yeah, it's ebbs and flows. I mean, I do so many different types of art in a way. So I do small charcoal pieces still, but I do big oil paintings that are, you know, they could be like 5 foot by 4 foot, like these pieces, and I do murals. So I'm pretty busy. But for creating originals, I hadn't created an original in like 6 or 7 months, just because I've been so busy with commissions the last while. And
commissions for like other art?
Yeah, for murals and for just custom art pieces. So people will approach me wanting something specific. So I'll discuss with them if it's doable in my style, and then we go from there. And that's usually the main source of income for me. And then, but originals have been taking off lately, which is awesome, because those are what I enjoy commissions, but I enjoy creating things that I have a specific vision for.
And how does someone reach out to you or look at your work?
Yeah, they can reach out to me through my website, so robertsonarts.com, and through social media as Robertson Visual Arts. Those are like the best ways to reach out to me. You can DM me. Yeah. And
are you going to come and visit us in Arizona?
Hopefully. Yeah. It'd be awesome to come paint down there.
Right? Well, see if I can get you some sort of a gig. Like I said, the art walk thing is there's artists that come from all over the world, So it's very cool. I'll get you some information on it. I'll let you
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much for those watching or listening. We're going to post Andrew's contact information. It's great to talk to someone from home. I hope you get some nice weather. And for those Canadians that are interested in the real estate world here in Arizona, it actually is a great time for Canadians to buy, believe it or not, even with the exchange rate, because 60% of property that you buy now, the sellers are offering concessions at closing, which could equate to $20,000 or more. Builders are offering 3.5%. And it's very nice. It's like 26 degrees today. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, please reach out to me, Loretta Sernowski, Remax Fine Properties. Everyone has a fantastic rest of your day. Thanks again, Andrew.
Thank you.